empathy for your avoidant, whether that's your ex, your current partner, a situationship. You've got empathy for them, right? You care about them. They've told you things. You have insight into them, the way they tick, their inner world. You understand them, maybe more than they understand themselves. And you've done work on yourself. You are interested in this stuff. You've reflected, you've grown, and you've learned not only about yourself, but about them. That's probably why you're watching my videos, because you're interested in understanding them, which is an amazing quality for a partner to be, right? First of all, I'll say that. The other thing that happens when you have a lot of empathy for an avoidant partner is that people in your life who you've told things about this person will put you into this kind of tug of war, because they'll say, what are you doing? This person isn't treating you right. You can't put up with that. They're not good enough for you. And you're like, you know what? I don't care what you think, because I know them and I understand them and I actually really care about them and you don't. So I don't want to listen to you right now. Okay, so I deeply understand this, and all of my clients will understand this, okay? Because most of my clients, I say most because it's not all, but most of my clients want to take responsibility for their part in a relationship. They want to grow, they don't want to blame, they want to own their side of the street so that they can do the work on what they can do. But a lot of my clients will try to take responsibility for the other person as well. And the empathy thing is a really beautiful thing, but it can be a very sticky, tricky place to be, because you care about them so much that you kind of bend your way a bit. You end up abandoning yourself more because you do understand them. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt. You see their potential. And this is quite a healthy thing to do, but only to a certain extent, right? Because there comes a point where your empathy really starts to impact you in a negative way, because you're giving people too many allowances for not taking responsibility, right? Because you can understand why someone is the way they are, but it doesn't impact you any less, does it? It kind of makes it a bit less personal, but it doesn't help the relationship grow. And yes, like, we do need empathy and compassion for each other in the relationship, but it only works when the other person is willing to reflect as much as you are on them. Are they reflecting on themselves as much as you're reflecting on them? Are they as interested in therapy as much as you are? Or are you becoming accidentally their therapist because you have so much empathy for them? Please don't do that, because it will kill attraction. It will kill your attraction to them, because you end up being their mother or their father instead of being their partner. So not only will you not be attracted to them anymore, but they will see you as controlling. Okay. So I say this all with so much love, because I have done this exact mistake. I've done this like to a huge degree, and it's quite hard because I'm a coach. So I end up doing it. I have to stop myself from doing it, not only with, a partner, but with friends and family. I have to stop myself from doing that, because you want to be a safe space for people, but you don't want to be their coach when they didn't ask for it, right? People don't want unsolicited advice. They don't want that. They want to have ownership and autonomy over themselves, and especially avoidance. And the thing is that when you're somebody who has insight and has emotional awareness and intelligence, you just want to go, please understand this. Please watch this video. Please, I've got this perfect video for you to watch. And if you only watched it, then you would understand yourself, and then we would be closer. But if you think about it, all of that stuff that you do, the conversations that you try to have or whatever, when you try to make them understand them, it's not for them, it's for you, isn't it? Because on some level you think, if they got this, then they would make me feel safer, and I have to get them to understand it so that I feel safer, so that I don't have to leave them. because if they don't get it, I know on some level I've got to leave them, right? It's a really difficult one because you have the information and it almost sometimes feels irresponsible to not share it with them. And I'm not saying don't, because there are healthy ways of doing it, like, hey, this video made me think of you, do you want to watch it with me? If they do, great. If they don't, they might go, I'm really not into that sort of thing. You know, that's an observation point for you. It's not a panic point. It's a, okay, that's where they're at, and I can't force them because I will become their parent in a minute. And that is not what they want, and it is not what I want. Don't be the parent in the relationship, because the relationship will die. And it's not to say that you can't share insight with each other, because that is a healthy thing to do in relationship when it's balanced, when you're both interested, when the other person responds with, oh yeah, oh my god, yeah, that is me, what do I do about it? Okay, I'll bring this to my therapist, I'm going to talk to my therapist about that. You know what I mean? Like, when they're taking responsibility for their own mental health and for their own well-being and their own way of showing up in relationships, you get to rest. You get to rest in relationship. You get to be in you and not be jumping into their internal worlds all the time, and that makes you feel safer, actually, and them feel safer too. They are more likely to do it when you are not pressuring them to do it. They're more likely to respond to you taking ownership of your life and go, that's interesting. This person seems really safe within themselves. This person feels good to be around because they're good with themselves. They won't know the language of this, but they'll feel it. And this is you coming back to you. This is you not abandoning yourself. This is you taking responsibility for you and not them. Having clear boundaries, saying what you need, expressing it effectively. Yeah. This is what makes people want to step up to where you are, not you controlling the narrative or controlling them or telling them something that makes you feel like a therapist to them and not a partner, right? So your power move is in taming your own panic when they don't do it, right? And literally coming back to yourself and going into observer mode with them. So it's hard when you've got an anxious attachment style to do this. And this is why I created the self-abandonment trap, to help you do it, because it is a transformer of relationships when you know how to stay in your own frame, when you know how to be grounded within yourself. And we're going to do this in a special way. We're not going to do this in a thinky up in your head way. We're going to do it using community creativity, which equals connection, and education, which helps your nervous system to relax and to come back to groundedness again. It is so powerful to do this work, but you can't do it for them. You have to do it for you. And yes, you have got all the empathy in the world for them. You can have all the empathy for somebody, but also know that the way they're showing up is still hurting you. Yeah. It doesn't matter how much you know about why they do what they do. If they're still doing it, it's still going to hurt you. So that's the distinction that you have to make clear within yourself, as much as it's painful to do. But the part of you that's holding on is the anxious part of you. The part of you that's holding on and hoping and giving this person chance after chance after chance and waiting and waiting and waiting is the anxious attacher that wants to be loved by you. Okay? And that's the coming back to yourself bit. So I thought I'd do this video because I have so many clients. And, I do exactly the same thing for so long. And, it's a horrible tug of war. But once you start to gain your self-respect and your vision of what relationship you do want, this becomes a bit easier. And you realize, oh God, I can't be their therapist. I don't want to be the parent. Nope, I'm not doing that. Not taking on that role. That is too much emotional responsibility in the relationship, and you've got to come back to you. So I've got 4 spaces left on the self-abandonment trap. If you want any more information about those spaces, you can find out in the links below. Use the discount code FREEDOM350 and that will get you 20% off, and I'd love to see you there.